Last time I spoke to you regarding how women feel about sex. There were far too many phone calls and requests from friends that I must also talk on how men feel about sex. Okay, so here I go. My friend, what I'm going to share with you today, it is my past experiences of my talks with husbands, so many of them, about their sexual needs and longings, their fulfillments and frustrations. I have found that although men have individual sexual characteristics as women do, they have also have a number of commonalities shared attitudes towards sex. It's highly important, my friend, that these be understood by women. The first thing I have noticed is that most men are more self-conscious about sex than women. This may sound surprising because men talk much more about sex and generally show much more interest in it than women ever do. But notice how they talk about it, almost always impersonally and indirectly, in stories, in the form of jokes, in the form of parables and anecdotes. They hardly ever talk about their own sexual experience, about their perplexities and disappointments. I nearly always find that wives can discuss their sex lives with more poise and detachment than any husband or men can ever do. Why is like this? Think. And when I think, I ponder over it. I found there are many reasons. The overwhelming power of sexual desire in a man, the rapidity with which he is aroused by sexy pictures of stories that produce hardly any stimulation. In any woman, they don't get aroused by watching, looking at pages and turning the porn literature. The aggressive drive which sexual needs can develop in him, uh, these explosive forces can produce emotion that build a man and make him fear he will lose control. So he learns in communicating with other people about sex to keep it at a safe distance and never let it get too personal. He's always on his guard all the time to prevent an eruption of emotions that could make him an object of amusement or dismay to others. Partly for this reason, it is usually harder for a man than a woman to link sex with love and tender emotion. No man really wants sex without love, but somehow so much difficulty in expressing or expressing their affection and their need for love that they make their women feel that the sexual experiences is for them completely impersonal. And this is, of course, a terrible humiliation to a woman, to any woman, because she then feels she is being treated as an object, she is being treated as a thing, and not as a person. A woman will understand this better if she will remember that there is a fundamental difference in the role played by the sexual partners. The man's role is to take the woman to give. The man has an urge to conquer the woman, surrender. Sometimes it may uh, happen that with somebody's counseling, they put it in this way, that a man gives love in order to get sex, while a woman gives sex in order to get love. Of course, mature love travels a long way from the oversimplified pictures, my friend, but it is core, it is close enough to the truth to have given many couples with whom I have worked or I have talked uh, for a new understanding of themselves. My friends, another significant fact about a man is that his self-esteem is very deeply rooted in his sexual nature. The way in which he proves his masculinity to himself is by functioning as a man towards the woman he has chosen. At this point, his masculine pride is more profoundly involved than anything else he does. Sigmund Freud says the same thing repeatedly. You read Vatsayan, he says the same thing again and again. This is why men are so sensitive and so vulnerable about their sexuality. Every wise man, or I would say every marriage counselor knows the anguish of the husband who has found himself impotent. Women need to understand this acute sensitivity. For them, there is no counterpart to such an experience. A man's sexual functioning is very complex, and if the involved mechanism fail, there is only one more, I would say, a terrible experience he can have. That is when the woman with whom he has failed treats him with contempt. Men don't seem to be sensitive about their sexuality, but you can be sure, my friend, that they are. They are very sensitive. To make a sexual advance and be refused is deeply humiliating for a husband or any man. Of course, there may be times when women may say no, but it needs to be done with great tact, my friend. A man is also sensitive about being able to make his wife happy in their sexual communion. Many husbands feel dismally inept every time their wives fails to reach a climax. Often there seems to be a basic incompatibility between man and a woman in terms of timing. The man gets sexually aroused too quickly than his wife. Woman gets into mood for sex only after a slow, gradual process, which is influenced greatly by romantic atmosphere and physical contact. The same difference of tempo often occurs during intercourse, my friend. Intercourse itself, and then it can result into discouragement and hurt feeling on both sides. My friend, I simply feel it must be the husband who must make the adjustment by letting to slow down this process, this relation, his reactions. The problem reappears in the cooling off period of the sexual communion too. The man's feelings die away as rapidly as they arise, while his wife goes through a long, slow process in which he feels happy, contented, and of course romantic. She wants to prolong the sense of physical and spiritual closeness to her husband. Men must understand this and must take a first lead and cooperate. My friend, sex is not in the marriage, remember. And we must not exaggerate its importance either. But neither must we underestimate the great power of it has rightly used to make all the other aspects of married life and love run smoothly and sweetly. Thank you very much.